So the last time we talked, this news was just breaking. So I decided not to bring it up.
Right.
But now the story has developed, and that is the Afrika Bambaataa story. Mm. Now, you actually know personally the first Afrika Bambaataa accuser.
Right. I mean, I haven't seen him in years, but B Stinger, Ronald Savage, is not just somebody I know. Everybody who used to rock with Zulu Nation and Strong City Records and studios up at Allerton Avenue knows B Stinger.
Mm-hmm. What kind of guy is he?
A very unassuming, you know, I mean, you can see in his interview, slightly nervous energy, but no type of thug, you know, like a kind of guy that's happy to be around type of guy. You know what I mean? But definitely not somebody that I feel would just make up some lies about a motherfucker and then go on TV with the shit and all of this type of shit.
He's not a grimy type dude. That's
absolutely
a long history of
getting
over on people.
When you think of B Stinger, you just think of a nice guy, like yo, B Stinger, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's the type of person, if you saw somebody picking on him, you'd want to fucking defend him type of dude.
So, I've interviewed Afrika Bambaataa twice. And in fact, I think in Belgium, when I was DJing, I was on tour. The promoter was friends with Bambaataa, so we all had dinner together. And then Bambaataa went and DJ'd, and we hung out. I have nothing negative to say about Bambaataa in terms of my interactions with him.
Me neither.
Super respectful, super nice. Actually told me how much he loved my mixtapes and how he would play some of my mixes at his shows. And it was like, oh my God, Afrika Bambaataa, the godfather of hip hop, plays my shit. Like, oh, that was like, winning a Grammy at the time. So for a long time, I chose not to even cover this because out of respect to the man, out of respect to his contribution, and out of my personal experience dealing with him. But ultimately, we have to report on the news. And when it just keeps coming over and over from all these different people, well, they first issued a statement saying that Bambaataa is no longer part of the Zulu Nation, which is like the equivalent of Steve Jobs getting kicked out of Apple.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then they issued another statement recently. Did you hear about this?
Yes.
Where they issued a formal apology to the alleged victims.
Which was beautiful, because the initial response by some of the senior members was to attack the accusers, the victims.
Are you Zulu?
I mean, technically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a part of the Zulu Nation.
I mean, it's not like I'm, paying dues and I could say, yo, I'm down with this chapter and all that. I'm part of the Nation of Gods and Nerves. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But kind of by default, by where we started at, you know what I mean? Because we started in that studio on Allerton Avenue with Jazzy J, with a bunch of Zulu dudes.
And Jazzy J Zulu?
Yeah, that's the one Bambaataa was handing the records to, because he was really on the Zigga Zigga. Red Alert and them was on the Zigga Zigga.
Okay, so Red Alert is Zulu.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
I know Tribe Called Quest is Zulu.
Yeah, there's a lot of,
Who else? Who are the other prominent Zulu Nation people?
I mean, I don't have a whole list like that. I would assume a lot of like DITC type of, you know what I mean? Cause yeah, we all started up there. Showbiz and AG, Diamond D, Law Finesse, dudes like that. Like, these are all people that would be in that Allerton Avenue studio. You know what I mean?
Lil Wayne, I think, was part of the Zulu Nation.
Recently
he joined the Zulu Nation.
Tip said that Lil Wayne is down with Zulu Nation. I mean, I got love for Zulu Nation as far as a hip hop organization, that strive to promote hip hop and the different elements of hip hop and put it under one umbrella. That was a beautiful thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I find out that that the motivation behind that was just so you can have a bunch of little kids around you,
Right.
that'd be some crazy shit. That means we have been Afrika bamboozled, is what the fuck we've been.
Afrika Bambaataa.
Okay, like seriously.
So at this point, there has been a lot of people coming forward. I remember there was this one video of this street dude from like the Bronx.
I talked to him on the phone, Poppy.
Poppy. Oh, you know him?
I don't know him, but I ended up talking to him on the phone. I was doing another interview with my boys from Harlem, Sonetta, and House of Consciousness, Red Pill, Blue Pill.
Okay.
They do kind of what you do, but for the conscious community, you know what I mean? Somehow I was doing it, and they ended up calling Brother Poppy on the phone.
Okay.
So I ended up speaking to Poppy, and I spoke to Big T, the one that beat up Bambaata'a. Oh yeah, Big T was like a bodyguard or something for
Zulu?
For Zulu at one point.
Okay, and he beat up Bambaata'a. Why?
Basically, he tells a story about they at Bam's crib. You know, a lot of times if people watching TV in the front, you know, sometimes people go to the back, Bam's bedroom to watch TV. Now, I don't know, you know, just that's where one of the TVs was at. Okay. He said he was back there watching TV. He might have dozed off or something. When he wakes up, he sees, allegedly, I wasn't there, but he told me and other people that he sees Bambaata'a fucking jerking some nigga named Rodney off over there. And so now T is like, what the fuck are you doing? And he said, Bam is like, oh, relax, T, everybody does it, da 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 da. And T got to whooping some ass in that fucking room. You know what I mean? He said he whooped Bambaata'a out for that shit. And like maybe anybody else that was in the room. You know what I mean?
Okay. What did Poppy tell you?
The same. He said, he said that motherfucker is, you know, he said he's a pedophile, period. He's a piece of shit, is what he told me. You know what I mean?
And I saw like the video of Poppy, and this like seemed like a real street dude.
B.O. was like that dude, a Zulu. Like B.O. had niggas scared on the street. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
And from what I understand, they call Poppy Baby B.O.
Okay.
Okay?
So it's a thorough dude.
He's a thorough dude from what I understand.
So,
I've never met him, but
so to have someone like that come forward and admit something so embarrassing, shameful, like he's not getting props for this.
At all.
At all. He gets props for having the courage to address his demons, but like on the street, like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't get a better reputation for this type of thing or whatever. He's not a tough guy.
Yeah, I mean,
or anything, you know, the world that he seems to associate himself with.
This is not something you'd be wanted to readily admit.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So when you hear these stories and you hear the type of people who are telling these stories, and you know, these people aren't gaining anything from this, aside from a little bit of publicity, which is somewhat negative publicity as well. I mean, for example, like you can't pay me to come forward and tell me and you know, and say that I got molested by another man, or you know what I mean? Like there's no paycheck associated with that I would accept.
Who's offering the money to say this?
Right.
And why?
And why?
Like, are you gonna do this with the hopes that there's a payday at the end of the road on some pie in the sky shit? Let's accuse Bam of this, and then maybe, you know, there'll be $1 million at the end of the road.
Right. I don't think so.
Or if they are supposedly being paid to do this, then what organization, what person or persons has the money to pay these people whatever they paid them to basically embarrass themselves and say that they were molested by this guy? And why would you go after Bambaata'a? Like, what has he done lately? For hip hop or for anything?
I mean, granted, Planet Rock is an all-time classic song.
Which I didn't like at the time.
You don't like Planet Rock? I love Planet Rock. And Planet Rock was one of the most sampled songs in hip hop of all time.
So what?
Planet Rock was important. Come on. In hip hop, Planet Rock was an important song.
Yes. And listen, I got a whole thing about how hip hop tried to sell its soul from the minute that like the record companies came in.
Okay.
And that was one of the attempts.
Planet Rock was one of the attempts?
That wasn't hip hop. That wasn't the shit that I knew Soul Sonic Force for. I used to listen to the tapes. A total different experience. And it's funny because I was just talking to Murder Mook the other night, and he gave a good example, a good analogy. Okay, imagine, you want Pepsi, you open the shit, but without looking, you drink it, and then milk is in there. Wouldn't you spit the shit out? Like that's what the fuck happened when I heard Planet Rock, because it was nothing like the tapes they was making. The tapes they was making was some hardcore hip hop shit with break beats and all of this type of shit. And they were rhyming like how rappers rhymed at that time. When they came with that Planet Rock shit, it sounded like some experimental, like they were trying to get the white people on board. Okay? And it's like hip hop was trying to do that from the beginning. See, the first hip hop show I ever went to was Soul Sonic Force at Roseland.
Okay.
And when actually the first show downtown, I had been to the Skate Key up in the Bronx. I saw Cold Crush in them. But when I went to that shit in Roseland and I saw fucking Soul Sonic come out and they had those fucking costumes on and shit, this was nothing how I envisioned these dudes in my mind.
Okay.
I was like, what the fuck is this? So I started to realize just recently, because this all ties into the Bambaata shit, how, okay, if he was doing this, how'd he get away with it for so long? Okay. If he was doing it, that means other people probably knew. And if other people knew, why were they silent? I'll tell you why. Because they were fucking enticed and intoxicated by the prospect of fame and fortune. Especially at that time. Think about it. Like you live in Bronx River. There was no fucking stars that you ever been around. Anybody that made records and was going around the world. All of a sudden you got a dude that lives right there amongst you. That seems like he might have the key to changing your life.
Right. He could take you on tour.
Like if you listen to the dude in the second interview, because there was a series of interviews when this originally came out, when Star had broke all of this. Let's keep it, he's the one that broke this. The second dude said he was like a dancer and a rapper and all this type of shit, and he wanted Bam to help him. He said he would have did whatever Bam wanted him to do. Drugs, whatever. Bam wanted to do some homo shit, he did it. How many people had that kind of outlook? Like not just the ones that he might have molested, but the ones that were covering it up. Because there was plenty of people that was probably eating off of this whole Zulu Nation shit. And I don't have all their names. I don't know who exactly they are. But if you knew about this shit and you didn't say nothing, you foul.
Right.
And I don't give a fuck how long I've known you. And I probably know some of these dudes personally. You understand? If you knew. Because it's one thing to be gay. Okay. We've been heard this about Bam, that he was gay.
Oh, really?
What? This rumor's been going around for more than 20 years that he's gay.
Okay. Until this happened, I had never heard that before.
Man, I heard this 20 years ago.
20. So what exactly were you hearing?
That Bambaata's gay.
Okay.
Not that he was a pedophile. That Bambaata is gay.
Okay.
I heard that years ago. But that's some shit you don't want to like believe, and it's not like he's doing shit that's outwardly gay that I could see. You know what I mean? Although you can sense certain vibes with people. You know what I mean? And I don't know. We kind of brushed that under the rug and said, I don't see it, so it's not proven. But I heard it more than once. Then when this shit came out, it was like, whoa. And then when I saw who it was with Bee Stinger and all of that, then when you try to lie and say you didn't know him, I said, well, if you lie about that, you'll lie about anything.
So you've seen Bee Stinger, was it Ronald Savage? Or was it
Bee Stinger, Ronald Savage, in the same room
with
on multiple occasions with Bambaataa'. I'm not talking about no back rooms. I'm talking about in the studio. Matter of fact, I just was talking to one of my mans. I don't know if he wants his name to be said, but one of my mans from back at that time, we was just talking about this Bambaataa'aa shit. And I said, you remember Bee Stinger, right? He said, yeah. I said, and you've seen him in the studio with Bambaataa'aa, right? He said, yo, God, Bambaataa'aa gave me a ride home one night, and Bee Stinger's the one that told me that Bambaataa'aa's gonna give you a ride. I said, get the fuck out of here. Like, I didn't even know that. I don't remember no shit like that. But that's how much we was in the studio. You understand?
Okay, so Bambaataa'aa saying, I don't know who this is.
That's a red flag for me.
That's a lie.
Immediately. There's no way that you did not know who Bee Stinger was. If you call the studio and ask for Jazzy J, he's not around. Who's this, Bee Stinger?
Okay.
There's no way. When you walk straight through the door, he's sitting right there.
Okay.
There's no way. There's other people that are complicit in this. There's other people that was enablers,
right,
and created an atmosphere for this to continue,
right,
and for this to happen.
Yeah, man.
And they're just as guilty.
It's deep, and because of the way the laws are set up, there's a statute of limitations, so
right,
he can't get charged with anything unless it happens.
Unless we found out about some shit that he's done very recently.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Unless someone comes forward recently.
Mm-hmm. And why would you stop if you've been doing it all this time and never got caught?
Right.
Why would you stop?
Yeah, you'll probably keep going.
Yeah, so maybe we will find some young motherfucker, you know what I mean, that he's been fucking with. Who knows?
Yeah, man. Crazy story.
I'm not fucking with that Bam Dusky shit.
Bam Dusky. And Bam actually did a couple interviews defending himself. He did one with Ed Lover, and then he also did one on television defending him. I'm surprised he's even saying anything.
Yeah, and all with people that he thought he was going to be safe with. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's bringing lawyers along. If there's statute of limitations, why you got a lawyer there? Also, if you run with the Moorish, he's supposed to be a Moor. Also, like, he runs with the Moors. So Moors don't fuck with lawyers. They're their own lawyers. Why would you have a lawyer with you?
Look, I work with them on Mad. Mm-hmm. Good guys. Mm-hmm. Good heart. Good guys. Give you the shirt off their back. Is it ironic? Is it a coincidence that most of their friends are white and got white wives? They like white women? I mean...
And they develop envy because they go home. They get out the car with their friend, with their other partner, and he listening to your music. They walk in the house, they girl listening to your music. They go downstairs, the kids doing a dance to your music. Now they are hypnotized with hatred.